Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's Nooooo TV again with the third installment of Throwback Thursday. These are some fantasy cup battles, and it's a cup that's what? Dragon types, steel types, and fairy types only. So naturally, here we are with three dragon types. And I know what you're gonna say, Dragapult, it's not a shadow Pokemon, what are we doing? But I mean, it's a ghost type, it's super glassy, and it's a pretty new pick for a Pokemon. So I don't want to hear any complaints. This is still a pretty electric team. And these are some fun battles. Actually starting off with a mirror match here, so this is pretty crazy. Gonna go throw some Astonishes. They switch out, but they swap into the Azumarill. And we're gonna see here, this Pokemon is literally everywhere in this cup. And we've got three Dragon types, so this is a tricky Pokemon, but Dragapult's got a pretty good matchup into it. And as you can see by our movesets on these Pokemon, they're all kind of like pseudo Dragon types. We don't really have any Dragon type fast damage on this team, only charge moves, and Dragonite has no Dragon type damage at all. Same with Salamence, so it's all like pseudo Dragon types. So here we can we can kill or take out the Azumarill here with the Shadow Ball. They let it go through. They might have been calling a bait here. That's okay. I like that. Gets the Azumarill off the screen, and then we'll see what they want to do here. Bringing back in the Dragapult. We hot swap out. We're like, oh god, that's gonna take us out. So bring in the Dragonite, and again, they're probably gonna start fearing some Dragon Claw, so they throw almost immediately, and that's perfect for me. So now we can come in here, put some pressure on with the Salamence, and see what they have in the bag. And it's a steel type. We eat this up with the fire type damage. Look at that. That thing dropped so fast. And then they're going to take us out here. They have to, or else we would have farmed them down. And then I guess this might end up actually being a tie for our first battle of the video. And it is. It is a tie. Okay, sweet. So I will always take a tie. It doesn't actually count against your elo. So you don't gain anything, but you also don't lose anything. So it's that perfect middle ground. I'll take it any day of the week. But as you can see, yeah, this is a pretty funky team. We just completely ignore two of the typings that you can do in the Fantasy Cup. It's pretty early on in the season, so I think all of us are still pretty like low in elo compared to like what we normally are. This is a tricky lead in the beginning. They've got a Berserker, so swap in the Dragonite, and again, they don't really know what our moveset is here because we have a completely crazy moveset. So gonna build up. I think we're going for the back-to-back superpowers here just to force either switch or double shield from the opponent, and then we can kind of play out of that however we want to. So throwing in the first move, undercharge it in case they let it go, but we didn't undercharge it enough. Okay, so that's kind of brutal. But again, we've got a ton of energy, so just going to throw the superpower here. Again, same deal, pull a shield or do a lot of heavy damage to this Berserker. They shield it, and like I said, fire type fast move damage on the Salamence. We're going to come in and eat this thing up. Look at that damage go. They're going to throw a move, but this might be a Trailblaze. Yeah, okay, I dare them to throw a move that isn't Trailblaze, and they don't. So it's double resisted. We call that bait. And I'm like, okay, called it once. Let's see if they're willing to throw another one. But they're not. They take us out with close combat. So that's kind of brutal, but it did what it needed to do. And now we've got a steel type that we do pretty well with the Dragapult in the back. So yeah, we can tank this damage. I don't think they built up to a potential Flash Cannon. And then, yeah, here we go. And we've done so much neutral fast move damage to this Pokemon that we can just start throwing the resisted breaking swipes into them and not really too concerned. My main concern at this point is probably that fast move damage from the Berserker, so we probably are just going to keep on farming up here so that we have residual energy in case that Berserker comes back in. We might even get a full farm down. We could have, I guess. I was maybe a bit afraid of a mirror shot coming in there. But, I mean, we've got the damage. This is resisted damage coming into the Berserker, but again, we've gotten him so low already with that fast move damage from the Salamence and the Dragapult that it took him out. So and this is again Throwback Thursday, right? So these are really old videos. The cuts are gonna be like a little bit different. We don't have that like kind of animation wait time between the battles because this is all pre me getting used to the editing, so none of that like perfect timing, or I guess more perfect timing in here. This is a tricky Pokemon that the opponent swaps into, but that lead was great for us. And we want to try and keep it on. Tried to call the bait. They didn't bait. They threw it. But again, here we go. Steel type damage. Another off meta pick from the Dragonite's fast move damage. This actually might just be a grass type move, so I think we're calling it here. Yep, Seed Bomb. Look at that. Double resisted damage. Didn't really do anything to us. And they come up with the Azumarill. So let's see if we go for it. We do. And let's see if they're expecting this heavy neutral damage coming from the Dragonite, and they don't. Oh my god, look at that. That took out like what 70% of the health of the Azumarill. Bank a superpower for later, swap it in the Salamence, and now we're gonna try and farm this thing down. They throw the play rough, so they won't be able to get to a move, and then comes in the I don't know, what is this guy's name again? Turtonator? Yeah. So as you can see here, we've got the fire type fast move damage. It's not doing anything to this Pokemon. It's double resisted. one of the downsides of having the like all dragons, not really any dragon type damage. So this Pokemon's actually kind of tricky for us. But again, we've got that superpower banked on the Dragonite in the back. So once our switch comes off of cooldown, we should be able to come in here and just throw a superpower, take it out, or at least pull some pretty heavy damage on it. Yeah, come in. Oh, this is a CMP tie, I think. Okay, sweet. So throw the superpower. If it doesn't KO, they're still locked into throwing this move, and they are. That is huge. So now the Salamence can come in, farm this thing down, and probably farm down the Azumarill. And yeah, so we've got like no HP left. We've got just enough in the tank to go to get the win here. So that's huge. These are some pretty fun battles with this team. I personally love the Fantasy Cup. A lot of my shiny shadows end up falling into the Fantasy Cup. So as you can see here, I think the next like 3 Fantasy Cup like videos that we'll have will be featuring these Fantasy Cup teams, and they're all pretty fun. The opponent, also a fan of Spice, they've got their Salamence in the lead, but they don't have a great matchup because their fast move is resisted by our Dragapult, and they swap into this Pokemon, and I'm like, I think I can tank this. It's a Sludge. We can definitely tank that. Swap it in the Dragonite, doing fast Steel type or super effective Steel type damage into this Pokemon, and I think we can just come in here, farm it all the way down, and we'll have a lot of energy to threaten the Salamence. And again, they're probably thinking that we have Dragon Claw, so we might throw this superpower here. They might be expecting a bait here, so they might not even give us a shield. But they do respect it. They give us the shield, but then we get this other one off, and now they've got no shields or only one Pokemon left. So let's see what the opponent wants to do. They do give us that shield. Okay, so now it's Salamence and Dragapult against the world. But again, look at that damage. We'd hot swap in, get this fast move damage off before they can really do anything against us. I don't know if they'll get... Yeah, they had to swap out. I don't think we took it out, though. But again, we're both dealing resisted damage to each other, and I don't think they have any shields, so this is just going to take out the Salamence. And it does. Okay, so that's game. And I think we're going to see a pretty common theme here with the Fantasy Cup battles of these are super quick battles. I don't know if we have any like really long battles, but it's just because we've got Pokemon that deal such heavy offensive damage. If it's not an Azumarill, we can generally chip through it pretty quickly. But here we go. This was the lead that we saw pretty commonly in the Fantasy Cup, Dragapult into Azumarill. And that's kind of like why I included Dragapult in this Pokemon in this team, because it can like match pacing of the Azumarill to this move and either do really heavy damage or pull a shield. Here they do give us a shield, so I'm like, okay, I think I'm just gonna come in with the Dragonite, start building up additional energy early on. They're in range where we don't really need to throw the Hurricane whatsoever. By the time we build up enough energy, they'll be in superpower range. So this is what we're doing. We're just farming up a ton. This should be enough to KO here, I believe. It might leave them on like 1 HP. It does KO though, and now it's us against the world. And again, it's a Turtonator in the back, so now we're in a really tricky spot. But again, they probably think that we're throwing a Dragon Claw here, so they might give us a shield, because like our moveset, the opponents never really knew what we were throwing. Throw one Steel Wing, swap into the Salamence, swap the damage over to it, and then we should be able to outpace them to their next move here, but I'm not too sure what the opponent's going to want to do. Let's see if they can beat us. They do swap out, but again, it's a Ferrothorn, so we're just going to farm this thing as much as possible. I think they would have gotten to a Thunder there, so he had to throw this move. But I mean, the writing's on the wall. I don't think the opponent can get to enough moves in time to take out our Pokemon, and they won't. So they can throw a move here on the Salamence, take it out. But again, we've got the Dragonite in back, and we're pretty close to a superpower. So we're going to farm up here, farm up as much as we can, get as much Steel Wing damage as we can off on this Pokemon, and then let's just hope that this KOs. And it does. Okay, so that's another win in the books. Again, I've got to give you guys my normal disclaimer. These are really old videos, so they're not like set for set perfect battles. These are just kind of like fun little highlight battles. They're probably going to be a lot more like win heavy than we would see in like a natural like set progression that we normally have in our normal videos. But that just makes this video even more fun, right? Because we just see like a lot of cool battles that we get to win. This is a tricky Pokemon. We do better fast move damage if they have Sand Attack, so they swap out into the Azumarill. But again, I like this. This is where I want to see the Azumarill. So we're going to throw the Shadow Ball, and let's see if they decide to give us a shield or if they're going to let us do some pretty heavy damage. And they give us a shield. So we honestly might match shields here, or we might just come in and farm down. Okay, so we do get the shield. Probably want to get them like a little bit lower so that we can then more comfortably come in and farm down with the Dragonite. And that looks like what we're going to do. But let's see if the opponent expects the Shadow Ball back to back. They do, so they shield it. But now this is perfect because they're in perfect range for our Dragonite to come in, get an energy lead, and really, really threaten that Flygon in the back because they think we've got a Dragon Claw that'll pretty much take it out. But we don't. But they bring in the Weezing, and guess what? We've got the Hurricane. This is going to OHKO the Weezing. Generally, both of our charge moves will be double resisted by that Pokemon. They didn't expect us to have the Hurricane move. And then, yeah, now it's time to just let the Dragonite go, and it's time for the Salamence to sweep. So get the perfect farm down on the Azumarill. And then now we've got a shield, and we've got a ton of damage. Oh my god, it looks like we might be building up to the Hydro Pump. Oh, this is going to be such overkill. Let's see if we can get there. We do. Let's go. This move is going to take out maybe a Flygon and a half, maybe even 2 Flygons. I do like to run Hydro Pump normally on my Salamence. I guess back when Bastiodon was really, really in the meta, because it gives me that neutral or super effective damage coverage again in the Steel types, which is normally resisted by Dragon type damage. But with the Fire Fang change, honestly, it might be overkill. We might just want that Draco Meteor, Dragon type damage to come in. But in all these battles, I'll have Hydro Pump, and it came in clutch there, if anything, just for the fun. But again, Azumarill lead again. So this Pokemon is literally everywhere in this cup, and they don't respect the Shadow Ball. Look how much damage that did. That is crazy. And then so here we are. We're just going to give them the shield, farm it all the way down, or make them swap out. And we do get the farm down. And what are they going to come in with? Oh, they're taking their time to make up their mind, and they come in with a Turtonator, and this is perfect. This is exactly where we want to see it. So we throw. Oh, we don't throw. I guess we want to throw back to back. But the opponent technically could just sneak in the whole Incinerate right here if they don't fall for the CMP tie, and they weren't going to, so we swap out into the Dragonite. But again, they don't realize that we're not going to get to our move as quickly as we will, so they throw pretty quickly, and I like that they threw it that quickly, so I just let the Dragonite go down. I guess it did what it needed to do and just burn some energy from this opponent. And now we've got still so much energy on this Dragon Ball. This Dragon Ball's going crazy in this game. Let's see if the opponent wants to shield this. They do shield it. So we might have to... Oh, no, we get to the Breaking Swipe. So again, take care of this Turtonator. This Dragapult is going on an absolute rampage this game. And then in comes a Whimsicott. And guess what? We can come in with the Salamence, do some super effective Fire-type damage. And they needed to build up to 2 moves to KO us there. But we didn't give them enough time because we hot swapped in. So they knew it was over. I think we would have farmed them down before they even got their 2 moves. So they just conceded, gave us the win. But really backed the opponent into the corner there, especially with how they tried to call that Shadow Ball bait in the beginning, and it just did not go their way. So that was a huge Dragon Ball game there, and then Salamence came in just to eat through that last Pokemon. And you can see here again with these non-Dragon type moves, we're not too threatened by Fairy types, but this Pokemon we are threatened by. So this is a Pokemon that resists all of our Dragon type, or yeah, I guess our Dragon type damage, but we don't have too much of it. We're doing neutral damage right now. They swap into the Flygon, and I'm like, oh shoot, okay. That's tricky because, again, this Pokemon will outpace both of our Pokemon in the back. So I don't know what we want to do here. Throw both Breaking Swipes, but, again, they outpace us, so we might have to let this go. Yeah, we do. So thank you, Dragapult. You did your job, but now it's time for their backline to sweep. And here, again, we can come in, farm it all the way down, and we'll have 2 superpowers to throw at this, what is it? Alolan Sand Slash that'll be in back. And because we debuffed them, we can tank that Shadow Dragon Claw coming from this Flygon pretty well. So let's see what they want to bring in. And they come up with the Azumarill. So now it's Hurricane time. Let's go. Let's see if they expect this damage. Nobody really expected this Hurricane from the Dragonite. That's why I like to run it in the Fantasy Cup, because it just gives us a lot more coverage against the Azumarills that are just crawling all over this cup. And then now it's Shadow Salamence time. I don't think they have enough health on their Alolan Sand Slash to get to a move, and they don't. So, yep, it's time for Salamence to take it over. I don't even know if the Azumarill could have gotten to a move, but we get to 2 moves before they get to 1 move anyway, so time to throw it. They'll shield it. We've got another one already banked, ready to go, and that's game. So even though Azumarill counters our typing pretty well, we've built this team to be a pretty good counter to Azumarill, which you wouldn't really expect from an all-dragon team into a fairy type, but it's the Fantasy Cup, so it's the wild west out here, and we are taking every possible advantage that we can and building this team with a bit of creativity involved. And I love that. That's why I love the Fantasy Cup. I can just use these fun dragon types, but in a bit of a niche way. Here we go again, A-Slash on the lead. And then this one, they're not Shadow, so we can probably play it out a little bit differently. But gonna build up, have to shield this move. It would take out our Pokemon, and we need this neutral damage and this energy. Baiting though. So we're gonna throw this. Hopefully the opponent gives us a shield, because this could be an OHKO from the Shadow Ball. and they do. So, and I like that bait right there because it forces the opponent to throw a little bit earlier. And now it's time for Salamence to shine. It'll come in and take this thing out before it can even get to another move. And that's why I love the fire type damage. Because again, dragon type takes super effective from ice type damage. And ice and steel in that case takes super effective from fire. So again, we cover our weaknesses pretty well. Except for, right, other dragon types. But we've seen here a lot of the other dragon types are either that Turtonator or the Flygon. In the way that it normally plays out, we can cover that pretty well. And you guessed it, here's another Azumarill. This Pokemon, I think, is on like literally every team. In comes a Flygon, but this one's not Shadow, so check this out. I think we're probably going to be able to tank this Dragon Claw. And we do. Let's go. Okay, nice. But it's tricky now, because we have to debuff ourselves, and if the opponent realizes it, they could farm us all the way down, and that's game over. So I don't know if they're going to do that. No, they throw it, and it looks like that was a CMP tie, which is a bit confusing to me, because I don't think the Dragonite wins the CMP tie there, so maybe that was like the game messing up, or maybe they just instantly threw that move, fearing that we would already have a Dragon Claw banked, because it's a bit cheaper than the superpower, and now it's game. So we take out the Flygon, and then I think we can just outpace to the fly here on the Salamence, and we do. So again, another Azumarill taken out by our Dragon types. We're on an unstoppable rampage right now, with just these like off meta, off norm picks with the move setups here. And yeah, I truly just love this cup. This is by far my favorite cup. I know a lot of people find it to be like a little bit dry just because a lot of people just like run the Mud Slappers or the Azumarills and stuff like that. But in my head, right, it's a challenge. It gives me a challenge to run some like really, really weird creative teams. Here's a tricky lead. So we swap into our second best counter to it. It's just a flying type. So it resists that ground type fast move damage. And I think we have to respect this damage because they built up, but we don't. Oh my god, that Iron Head hurt. Oh my god. Okay, so Dragonite had a really, really short stint in this battle, and I think we're probably just going to come in with the Salamence, farm it down. We waited our switch timer out as much as possible so that if something really, really hard counters this on the swap in here, we could get out sooner. But again, it's an Azumarill, so got to take care of this Pokemon eventually. We've got an energy lead on our Pokemon, and because we didn't shield the Dragonite, I do believe that we've got both our shields left. Yeah, we do. And try to catch on the Dragon Ball, but we sneaked that move, so I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't sacrifice this. So I'm going to shield. Build up. And as we get to the Shadow Ball, we're going to throw it, make the opponent give us a shield and give us their Azumarill. But they decide something else. I think they swapped. And it was an extra drill. Yeah, so, I mean, bye. That thing got one shot by that Shadow Ball. That is crazy. So, I mean, like, they caught the damage, but I think it's, again, a little bit too little too late because we've got such a head start on our Pokemon. Not going to bait here and find ourselves a lose con. We're going to throw the Shadow Ball, force the opponent to shield for us. And they do. And I think that they throw, like, a little bit early because, I mean, that astonished damage would have just farmed them down if they waited too long. But now they're so low that I think that we can just come in, farm down with the Salamence. No, we don't farm down. We do throw the fly. But, again, that's another win for us. Just dragons countering fairies left, right, and center in this video. Oh, and I guess that's it. Holy cow. So, again, I think there was maybe 9 or 10 different battles, but they were all super, super quick because there's the pacing of this cup that we've got here. And then here we get a couple little spoilers. One more Shiny Shadow to add to our regimen. And then here we've got our Shadow Palkia. So this one's pretty fun. I did record some color cut footage, but again, Cap got banned, so I didn't get to post it in time. So this will eventually make it into our throwback videos, and then probably just make it into some of our standard gameplay. But this was a really fun Fantasy Cup Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday number 3. The next 2 are probably going to be Fantasy Cup as well, but they're going to be a little bit different team comps that I think are even more fun with some more crazy movesets. But yeah, that was it for this week's Throwback Thursday. Thank you guys for watching, and have a nice night. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. For a guy with a marketing minor, I'm not very good at plugging that. So, Nooooo TV, remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.